From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
The race for president too close to call, and ballots are still being counted in central Indiana. Experts warn this would be possible after record-breaking numbers of absentee and early ballots this election. And our Democracy 2020 coverage continues now at 7. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Like several of those battleground states, Marion County is still working to process absentee ballots. More than 200,000 Marion County voters used mail ballots. This is a look inside the county's Election Services Center today. Workers were there late into the evening yesterday and started around 10 o'clock again this morning. All of them working to make sure your vote counts. Those working there today say it's one of the most rewarding ways they could spend their time.
I think that every adult should do this at least once in their lives, to touch the ballots that somebody else has put together. It makes you feel a sense of pride.
I wanted to feel like I was a part of the process, and to even show my kids and my nieces and nephews that their one vote does count.
Leaders with the clerk's office say they likely won't be done processing all of the absentee ballots until sometime tomorrow. With ballots left to count across central Indiana, the high-profile race for Indiana's 5th congressional district is still too close to call. Republican Victoria Spartz and Democrat Christina Hale are locked in a tight battle for the House of Representatives seat held by Susan Brooks. 99% of precincts have reported. Spartz has about a 20,000 vote lead right now. We will continue to monitor this race and bring you results as they come in at WRTV.com.
The 5th district includes Madison County, where we are working to get answers for voters who were still waiting in line hours after polls closed. The county did not have enough of its new voting machines after the clerk says commissioners decided at the last minute to stick with traditional polling places instead of voting centers, a decision that voters are not happy about.
You know what? We pay a heck of a lot of taxes to be told that, particularly on an election that is as important as this one has been. I'm 72 years old, and to me it was the most important election of my lifetime. So.
And to hear that?
And then to hear that, it doesn't sit well.
WRTV has yet to hear back from Madison County's commissioners.
Voters have ousted 2 incumbent school board members in the Northwest Hendricks School Corporation. This decision follows more than a year of controversy and divide over how the school district handles sexual misconduct allegations involving a teacher and a student. Northwest Hendricks School Board President Jim D'Agostino and board member Craig Peoples are out. Voters have decided to replace them with Abby Morgan and Joe Brooks. Both newcomers plan to improve communication with the public, including adding back public comment to meetings.
I think what we heard yesterday was the silent majority spoke. So I really think that's what happened. This is what happens when the trust gets removed.
Abby Morgan told us, quote, "I would like to thank the members of the Northwest Hendricks School Corporation community for their support. I am excited about this opportunity to serve the community I love," end quote. Jim D'Agostino and Craig Peoples have not responded to WRTV's requests for comment.
While results trickle in from the handful of states that could determine the race for the White House, President Trump is threatening to take legal action all the way to the Supreme Court. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez explains whether that's possible and what might trigger a recount in some states.
With millions of ballots left to be counted, the president falsely claiming victory and promising a legal battle. Today, his campaign saying they've filed a suit in state court in Michigan to stop ballot counting there, claiming the campaign hasn't been given meaningful access to some counting locations. And last night, the president going even further.
We'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay?
Legal experts say at this point, the Supreme Court will not get involved in the way the president wants.
The Supreme Court could decide that particular types of ballots are invalid. But what the Supreme Court can't do and won't do is literally stop the counting.
And cases will only reach the Supreme Court after lower courts have ruled. In Pennsylvania, the decision to allow ballots mailed on or before Election Day to be counted if they arrive by Friday, still facing legal challenges and the potential of being escalated to the Supreme Court, which the state's attorney general believes shouldn't happen.
2 separate occasions, the Supreme Court didn't step in. This should remain with the state, and the state says these ballots should be counted.
The Supreme Court could also possibly rule on matters involving potential recounts, as we saw in Florida in 2000. Once ballots in this election are all tallied, the count in some states could be so tight it would likely trigger automatic recounts. In others, the candidates can request them, which we're already seeing in Wisconsin. Though the votes are still being tallied, President Trump's campaign manager writes in a statement that they have serious doubts about the validity of the results there, adding the president is well within the threshold to request a recount, and we will immediately do so. The Biden legal team, meanwhile, responded to President Trump's comments from last night, saying they are prepared to defend the vote and make sure every eligible ballot is counted. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Checking in now with Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. Kevin, I will take this day over and over again all through fall and winter.
That's asking a little too much, but there is.
I tried.
There are several days ahead. Yeah, you tried. I think you just check in with me every once in a while, make sure I'm still awake, right? We've been on cruise control here. Not much of a problem in the weather world. These are not current temperatures. These are the high temperatures from earlier in the day. Well above the average high in the upper 50s. We've dropped back into the 60s now. 62 in Terre Haute, a little warmer in Lafayette. Temperature 64 in Muncie. It's a comfortable evening. You notice the cloud cover increased the mid to high level clouds and brought a good looking sunset. That also is the reason our temperatures will be a little warmer tonight. The veil of clouds. We'll call it partly to mostly cloudy. Temperatures at 50 or a little above. There are your temperatures tomorrow morning at the bus stop. Lower 50s during the afternoon. We won't be as warm. The cloud cover thins in the afternoon, 66 or 67 for the high. What changes Friday and lasts through the weekend? That's coming up.
Well, the sharp rise continues in coronavirus activity in Indiana. Today brought increases in several different statistics. Today set a record for the most cases reported by the State Department of Health in their daily case numbers, and unfortunately, that's become all too common in these recent months. 3,756 new cases in Indiana, with an overall unique positivity rate that's continuing as well, now at 16.7%. As you can see from this graph, the State Department of Health, we've seen an unprecedented shift in activity in the last couple of months, leading to daily case numbers up in the 2,000s and 3,000s for the past couple of weeks. Positivity rates are on the incline as well. Looking at the data in this graph as well. We're also seeing consistently higher daily reports of deaths of Hoosiers with COVID-19. Today, the state reports 25 more people who have died with the virus. That brings the total number of people in Indiana who have died with it to 4,224. The numbers here show that we're not losing as many people on a day-to-day basis as we were at the height of the first wave back in the spring. We're starting to get close to those numbers after seeing a decline in deaths over the summer. Another area of concern is hospitalizations of people with COVID-19. Today's amount of patients in the hospital with the virus matches the previous spike back in April. And what's more, we're starting to surpass the numbers we saw then when doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers became overwhelmed with COVID-19 patients.
State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box brought up concerns about healthcare workers during the state's weekly COVID-19 briefing.
What we hear consistently is that their biggest challenge is having enough staffing. Some hospitals have already needed to rearrange their elective surgical procedures to accommodate their staffing needs. We also are receiving 3 to 5 requests a day for staffing assistance to our healthcare workforce reserve for hospitals. Unlike last spring, when the requests came primarily from long-term care facilities, we are now seeing hospitals make these requests.
Dr. Box is putting out the call to become a member of Indiana's healthcare reserve workforce and reach out to the State Department of Health and help ease the fatigue on frontline workers.
Still ahead here on the news at 7, open enrollment is underway for many, and that means scammers are on the prowl. What you can do to protect yourself. But first here, Hispanic voters proved to be a large and diverse force in the 2020 election. We're taking a closer look at their impact at the polls. Hispanic voters made a big impact in the presidential election, even as we await final results. President Trump scored a big victory with Latino voters in Miami, while an increase in turnout benefited Democrats in other states. Cesar Rodriguez is in Phoenix, where Latinos say their strong numbers show the issues they care about must be addressed by whomever wins.
Across the city of Phoenix, Latino, Republican, and Democrat signs decorate the sidewalks to show their support for their candidates. The owner of the Barrio Cafe took it to the walls. A pro-Biden mural decorates the facade of her business. Meanwhile, the Latinos for Trump in Arizona demonstrated that many Latinos vote Republican and support the president. With a strong Latino turnout in Arizona, Petra Falcon says she believes Latinos voting for Biden were angry about the decade-old failed Arizona bill that would have allowed law enforcement to request immigration documents of people pulled over.
10 years ago, SB 1070 just created a movement in the state that involved many more people, lots of young people. And those young people, a lot of young people were dreamers, and they're now citizens, and they're voting. And, you know, we have new citizens.
The swing state of Texas ultimately went to President Trump. There are 5.6 million Latino eligible voters, according to the Pew Research Center. This year, Texas added 1.8 million registered voters, many of whom are Latino. It was a knockout victory in the state of Florida for President Donald Trump, who walked away with a resounding support by a diverse group of Latinos, in its majority Cuban Americans in counties like Miami-Dade. Voting Republican has a historic reference for Cubans that stems from the 1960s, when the Democratic Kennedy administration failed to stop Fidel Castro's communist regime from taking the island. Eloy Cepero, back Trump.
Oh my God, this is the man. I think it was a blessing that this guy came along, because the country was falling apart.
And the top concerns for Latinos? Jobs and the economy. According to experts, with the growing number of Latinos across the country, the next president of the United States will have to tackle these concerns. In Phoenix, I'm Cesar Rodriguez.
Dry with temperatures in the 50s tomorrow morning, but what to expect for the weekend? We'll get into that shortly.
This is the time of year when we enroll in our insurance and other benefits for the following year. It's also Medicare enrollment time for seniors, and Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau says that's the time the crooks also like to come out.
Well, open enrollment for Medicare started, and that really brings out the scammers. Here's what we see. If you get solicited by someone that says, hey, if you've got a back problem or a knee problem, I can get you a brace for free and Medicare will pay for it. All those people are looking for is your Medicare number. So when they say, yeah, we can get you a free brace, give me your Medicare number, they aren't really offering a brace. All they're looking for is your Medicare number. The other thing that we're seeing is that someone will be calling you from Medicare. In fact, there may even be a number that looks like it's from Medicare. First off, don't believe that number. There are apps that you can buy that can override your caller ID and make it look like any number that the caller wants. And once again, they're going to say something like, there's a problem with your Medicare account. We need to have your Medicare number. Well, the government, number one, is not going to contact you via the phone. Number two, the government has your Medicare number. They know what your Medicare number is because they're the ones who issued it. So if you get solicited by someone saying that there's a problem with your Medicare account and that they need your number and that they're from Medicare, don't give them that. They're just out trying to get your number. So just beware of these scams, particularly now during open enrollment with Medicare.
You can read more about this and other scams at the Better Business Bureau's website, bbb.org. Kevin.
Well, we'll do it again. Temperatures will be in the 60s tomorrow, but the sun comes back and temperatures warm even more as we go Friday into the weekend. Temperature right now 60 in Fishers, 1 degree warmer in Greenfield. New Powell, a little cooler at 58. Just a function of the cloud cover. With more clouds around tonight, temperatures on average will be warmer, staying at 50 degrees or above. 71 in St. Louis. Notice the coldest air has been pushed basically out of the country. Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine still with some colder temperatures, but the rest of the U.S. enjoying unusual November warmth. Whenever you see a big blue H on the map, generally you're talking about clear skies at night, sunshine during the day. In this case, it's losing its influence just a little bit for tomorrow, but the wind will stay out of the southwest, and that will keep our temperatures on the mild side. Our next chance of rain not until early next week, and we may have some thunderstorms with that Tuesday as we transition back to cooler temperatures in the middle of next week. We'll push records within 3 degrees or so, I think, on Sunday and Monday. Then the cooler temperatures middle of next week. But even that may not last that long, and we'll get back to above average temperatures. In the morning, lower 50s, biggest change. We'll have more cloud cover around the first half of the day. In the afternoon, we'll start to work on more in the way of sunshine. There's the gray of the cloud cover. As we get to the afternoon, you see by 5 o'clock, back edge of all the clouds in the southeastern portion of the state. Breezy, wind out of the southwest, generally 20 miles per hour. These are the gusts that will reach 20 miles per hour. There are your cloudy skies breaking up a little bit in the afternoon. Temperature struggles to hit 67 for the high. Friday, we break out of the cloud cover. Sunshine, temperature hits 70, a great Friday afternoon. Temperatures will continue to climb from there and peak Sunday and Monday. Nice Friday night for football. Great way to start moving toward state championships, which will be played indoors, but we got a nice outdoor kind of setup for Friday night. 73 on Sunday, warmest day of the weekend, but both days perfect if you've got outdoor work to do. Our chance for a shower or thunderstorm increases Tuesday as the party ends for Wednesday. The temperatures will be back into the 50s for highs then, so noticeably cooler than Tuesday. That's a 7-day forecast.
And it's looking good. All right. Thank you, Kevin. As most of the country juggles the uncertainty following the election and the ongoing spike in COVID-19 cases, today also happens to be National Stress Awareness Day. In today's Health Minute, an expert shares 5 strategies to lower your stress and stay calm amid all of this anxiety.
Post-election anxiety, the pandemic, working from home. Experts say it's all making it very difficult to manage our stress levels.
Not really distinguishing between work and home, moms with all the kids at home, etc. It's been very, very stressful for many, many people.
Dr. Graham Simpson, medical director for Opt Health, a telemedicine app, says it's all about self-care. Here are his 5 tips to de-stress. Number 1, move your body. Release feel-good endorphins by exercising or simply stretching. Number 2, breathe. Take little breaks to rest your mind and recenter yourself.
And breathe in and out through your nose, not your mouth. Because when you breathe in this way, your whole body tends to relax.
Number 3, get enough sleep. Getting enough rest boosts your mood, so create a routine.
You want to try and go to bed at a similar time. If it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, you wake up at 7 in the morning. Try and get into that habit.
Number 4, do things that make you happy. Pick up a hobby, learn new things to boost your mood. And number 5, measure your levels. Even if you're doing all the right things, you could still be struggling.
You can't really feel good and feel stress-free without having your hormones and nutrients balanced. A lot of the nutrients can be easily measured just with a simple blood test, and similarly with the hormones.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Well, NASA just announced a technology upgrade that will let scientists communicate with a spacecraft that's more than 11 billion miles away. Voyager 2 launched in 1977 and traveled past Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune last year. It made it out of our solar system. NASA engineers needed to upgrade the only antenna on Earth that can communicate with and control the Voyager. That antenna is located in Australia and had not received new technology in 47 years.
Well, if you're looking for gift ideas for the holidays, Stouffer's Frozen Food might have just the thing here. Stouffer's announced plans to launch a website to sell merchandise. A couple of t-shirts expected to be available say things like mac and cheese is self-care and live, laugh, love lasagna. There will also be other items available such as coffee mugs, hoodies, and even fanny packs.
I really love the live, laugh, love lasagna. I need that shirt.
You like that one? You need that one in your life?
Yeah, I do.
Live, laugh, love, overeat for me would be another one. Don't forget weather gifts. I mean, a rain gauge is a beautiful thing. 66, the high tomorrow.
Nothing like a blatant hint, Kevin. Thank you. And we'll see you back here tonight at 11.